Hey Nicole, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Eric?
I am fantastic. I'm feeling so invigorated today. You look fantastic. You look great.
Oh man. I woke up with like the worst eye infection. I'm now everyone's just gonna look at my eye the whole
No,
time.
yes, you should not have brought it up, but I was egging you on to tell us about it.
I know. I'm just gonna look like
You don't, I can't tell anything. I think
it's
you're
fine.
because you know it's there. It's like I've got a pimple on the side of my head that when my barber was giving me a haircut, he said that it spoke to him.
Oh no.
So yeah, I think that everyone in the world is just staring at my. Not that everyone is watching, you know,
Well, for the three people watching, don't look in my
or my
eye.
pimple. Yes, we're in disarray today. Anyway, what a wonderful day. How about we just get into it?
Let's just do it. We've got a lot
Let's
to talk
just do
about.
it. Welcome to the Real Agents Podcast, a weekly podcast where our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to discuss life and real estate and everything in between. So if you like your insights shaken and not stirred, well, then this is the podcast for you. That's Nicole Dash,
And that's Eric Harrington. And we
and
are
we are the Real
the real
Agent.
agents.
Yes. All right. Let's just jump right in.
Yes.
We had a great week this week, didn't we?
We had a very fun week. I mean, I at went so okay. Every quarter, our team, our amazing team, does a team building team event for us, right? So we can get together and different people lead it. Eric
Yes.
and I took this one on. This was our challenge. We want to make it fun. We created a mission for them. We found this really awesome company called Let's Roam that does scavenger hunts in different cities. And
Yes.
it was connected to an app with like a live moderator. Like it far surpassed my expectations on
Yeah.
what it was. It was really, really cool. And our whole team went, we had five teams of about seven or eight, right? Roughly. Only a couple
Yeah.
of no
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah.
Everyone came. Great time. We were in Old Town Alexandria. Has lots of history, lots of cool places to see and visit all along the waterfront. So I'll let you finish the night. I'll let you talk about what happened once we got
Well,
there.
couple of notes. Couple of notes. One, um, I thought it was absolutely amazing. It was wonderful. The tech aspect of it really kind of blew me away. And the pictures that we got from it were incredible. Like so much fun. I wish it was longer.
Me too.
We
Yeah.
had a 2 hour block, and that 2 hours went by in like 10 minutes, didn't it? Well, and
Well,
mainly because one team finished in like 45 minutes.
yeah, I think it was about done in 45 minutes
Yeah.
and we were stretching because one team
Yes.
they came to play. Wow. They came to
Well,
play.
okay, and therein lies the rub. Yes. So one team, I guess, use survivor rules, which means there are no rules, and if you can figure out how to break the game, oh, let's just break it. And that's kind of, I get it. You
Yeah.
want to win,
Yeah.
but the idea is about team building, so you want to have your group stay together, and they were like, no, we can finish these things quick if we spread out and divide and conquer, which is a strategy. I'll
They were
give them
strategic. Hey, they
yes.
are competitors. Like they hacked that game. They figured it out. They were like, oh, we're weighted on, even though it said it's not a race, it clearly said it like multiple times in the description. It's about points. Well, they figured out though that the faster you complete certain things, the points are weighted a little higher for
Yeah.
the activity, which I guess in the fine print it did say speed, but then it's in the same breath it said not a race. So I people were thrown off by that. There were ways to get bonus points, like leave them a Google review, join their Facebook page, answer an extra bonus. So they were like leveraging everything they could. Like they did their homework, they
Yes.
figured it out, they had a plan, they had a private text thread, like they had it. They came ready. They came in matching like blue color outfits. Like they were so cute. And
That
so
was what was so fun
it
about it,
was
is
so cute.
everyone really enjoyed, the whole setup of it, and the camaraderie of it. And you know what? I get it that the other teams were probably a little upset because everyone's crisscrossing on their journey. The map has you crisscrossing. So you get to see what the other teams are doing, and you get to see when the other teams are splitting up. And that drove our ultra competitive participants absolutely bonkers, didn't it?
Oh. I mean, so you and I, as the hosts, didn't actually play the game. We just kind of like,
Well,
we sort of
tried.
A little bit. And we were like, it's not meant for two people. We're not that good at it. Let's look at the water. But we were like, no, we're not supposed to play. We looked at a couple of questions. We're like, yeah, we can't do this. Map following skills. No.
If we were on someone's team, we would have been like the dead weight.
We would have been the dead weight. The map says we go that way, and it's like really that way. I think that was
we were literally walking around in circles for one point, weren't we? I mean, we were like, are we supposed to go this way?
We're like this with our phone.
We got help from a resident. Someone that lived there had to show us where to go. Yeah. That was pretty sad. Yeah, we were bad.
But we as the moderators, we were getting text messages with video evidence that the team was breaking rules. They weren't technically breaking rules. They were not, but they were just doing whatever they could to win, right? So
there's an argument for both sides. And that's what I thought was not awesome was that people did get kind of like perturbed about the way it was going. It was like, come on, we're just having fun. And it wasn't everybody. And I think all in all, at the end of the day, everyone had a great time. Yeah. And it was a lot of fun. I wish, like I said, I wish it was longer. I wish we maybe implemented alcohol.
Shot at every location. We turned it into a drinking game, but it's like 11 p.m. though, Eric, and it was a work day. It wasn't like
this is true. It was a little early, but it's noon somewhere anyway.
My sister, she's in a corporate event planner, and she does big scale events. Like her budgets are like $1 million for an event. Like it's crazy. Like she travels all over. Like she was just in Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, like Jamaica. Like she travels all over for these corporate events. It's crazy. And so she loves her job. So I was telling her, I was like, so I planned an event. And I said it was a scavenger hunt. And I'm explaining to her. She's like, oh yeah. She's like, all scavenger hunts end in arguments. She's like, it doesn't matter. Yes. So she said, I have planned them throughout the city, like a 5-hour scavenger hunt for this group of scientists throughout this whole city of Richmond. And they were so smart. They finished in 2 hours and they were mad because it was like, and they were, she's like, never plan a scavenger hunt for scientists. I'm like, we're not scientists. Believe me, we're far from scientists. But there were arguments, maybe a little bit.
Most of our folks don't even understand the word science.
Yeah.
That makes sense. When you have that ultra competitive, it's one thing to play volleyball or it's one thing to play softball. There's a clear winner loser. Yeah, you can. Oh, he was safe. No, he was out, or that was over the line. Yeah, but with this, it was like it just compounded because you see, you get this perception that people aren't doing what they're supposed to do. But in the end, it all worked out. I think everyone walked away with a positive feeling about the whole thing, and it was fun. It was a blast, and I would love to do it again. You and I should just do it. Let's do our own scavenger.
Yeah, we got it. Well, no, we need more people. We can't figure it out with two. We're not scientists. We're not good enough. We need a team.
Our producer got one of the individual awards, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he did.
For
I think that was because he was hacking. He knew the hack. He was like doing the daily challenges, like he was doing the things you're supposed to do apparently.
I would love to if we were able to share some of the photos on this podcast, and maybe our producer who's shaking his head no.
He's like, absolutely not.
I'm calling him out. I'm calling him out. Some edit time. Drop a couple of pictures in. What was our emoji one?
Right here.
Can we recreate our favorite? They made you take a picture showcasing your favorite emojis. You ready? On the count of 3. Let's do what we did. 1, 2, 3.
I don't know. I don't know what this is, the tears one. It's not my favorite. It's the only one I could think of at the time.
You just drew, so that's why you got an eye infection.
I
Because
know.
you're
I
touching
touched
your
my
eyes.
eyes, the tear. I was
Get
like,
your
this
fingers away from your eyes. Good Lord. No, so
darn
that was a lot of fun.
baby's fault. So yeah, so overall it was great. I mean, I love that our team makes this a priority. It's part of our culture. One of our values is having fun. I just think that it's important because we do work so hard, especially now in the spring market. I mean, it's a stressful job at times, so it's a way to blow off steam, get to know each other a little bit more. So for that, I am very grateful that we got to do it. Whether people were like upset or happy or whatever, at the end, it was just a great experience, and it just shows like we're on the best team ever. So
yeah, and you know what? I'm glad they were upset because that means that we do have a feisty bunch. I mean, I'd rather you have a couple of people in there who are like willing to express themselves rather than a bunch of people who just want to just people pleasers.
right.
You need some of that variety. You need
fight in them, no feisty fire. They're just like, who cares? We care. We care about winning.
Next time, we're not going to put it together. We'll let somebody else do.
No, we're done. We're done. I think we've hit our event planning quota for a couple of years. What do you think?
I think we should absolutely. Well, maybe not a couple of years because you're really good at it. So you should do it again in a couple of months.
Me.
The other thing is for the next one, we should absolutely be the squeaky wheel. Oh yeah. We're gonna make it difficult whatever it is.
That's right. Yeah. And we're gonna send text messages to the organizer, and we're gonna complain at the end.
Everybody cheated. They all cheated. Yes. Oh well, it is what it is. But now we're back to working. It's a crazy busy weekend, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's crazy busy. Yeah, I just put on a listing, and I've got a couple of others that are all getting prepped for next week. So it's good. It's like things are moving.
So that's what I really wanted to talk about this morning. Every morning I wake up, I open up the MLS, and you could see how many listings hit the market, and 50. And this is just in our farm. So Fairfax, our farm, and probably the three viewers that are watching pretty much know our farm too. But in our farm, 50 new listings came on today alone.
Wow!
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. That's big. And I wanted to ask you, as a listing agent, I know what it means as a buyer's agent, and we can talk about that later. But as a listing agent, what does that mean to you when you see 50 new listings hit the market?
So more competition, right? So I do think that I'm like, more listings, because the less amount of inventory, there were more eyes we get on each property we list, potentially multiple offers and pushing price, right? That's why there's a sweet spot of the early spring, winter time, right? Late winter. But for overall the market in general, the health of the market, it's important. Like we've been struggling. If we want buyers to stay in the game, they need to have more to look at. So, overall, I think it's great. I just hope that doesn't like water down my chances at my listings selfishly.
Is it the worst that have sellers been trained to think that their house has to sell in the first week, or you think we're going to get to more realistic expectations of, maybe your house stays on for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I mean, because I think the national average right now is, I think, just shy of 2 months, something like that. I mean, I could be wrong. Wrong. But our market is a lot less than that.
It's a lot less than that. Yeah. I mean, I think what I try to explain to my clients is the market can shift week to week, and we have to be like as our eyes open and as available to it as possible. I try to keep that line of communication going and just be like, hey, listen, 50 houses came on this weekend, so we're just going to let it ride. Let's see what happens, right? Like we're going to wait to make a call about whether we set a deadline for Monday or not until after the first couple of showings happen, and we can kind of get a vibe on, it's like a temperature check on how popular a house is going to be, right? So because as an agent, unless I know it's like a knock it out of the park type home, right, that I know I'm going to get so many offers. Then I will set my deadline as I hit the market, and I put it in the notes and it's clear. But if I'm not sure and it's like an in-between, I'm like, it could be a hot house, it could not, then I'll wait. I'll just put it on, wait a few hours, see, like if all of a sudden I start getting all these scheduled showings, then I know it's going to be a hot house.
Yeah.
And then I will set my deadline. Otherwise, I do the whole, as agents call, like, well, we haven't set a deadline, but we may review, but we may not make a decision to the end of the weekend. I leave it like so gray.
Yeah. Well, and that's smart. I find it really interesting. I show a lot of houses outside of market. And you'll see when it's in coming soon status that they've already set a deadline. And these houses, sometimes it's like, what were they thinking? I mean, was this just to appease the owner to make them think it's going to be, crazy? But there's one I showed it yesterday, a townhouse in in Stafford, that it was a mess. It was an absolute mess. And it was priced too high, and it has a deadline of Monday. And I'm thinking, that's some ambitious listing guidelines there. Yeah. But I remember just walking. What was this conversation like with this seller? I mean, oh yeah, we're going to price it at the top of the market. We're not going to clean. We're not going to paint. We're not going to do anything to that yard. And we'll set a deadline. You'll have offers to choose from.
Well, it's like, we're going to create a buzz. Do you know how to do that?
Yeah.
We set a deadline. We make people think they were having, but I mean, come on, the worst thing in the world is to set a deadline and the deadline come and go and you have no offers. Like that is the kiss of death, honestly.
Yes. How do you come back? How does that conversation go?
No, I don't let that happen. Like if for whatever reason I've set a deadline on, like, let's say Thursday, and then I'm thinking it's a hot house and it's kind of like Saturday and it's feeling duddish, I will erase that deadline. That deadline will not appear
take it off the listing. Yeah.
Right. It's no longer on the listing.
Well, just when I saw the 50 homes hit the market, that's like, for us buyer agents, that's like manna from the gods. That's awesome, because we've been in such a rut for inventory that it's disappointing to your clients. Your clients see that there's nothing really new to look at, and they're clicking on the same houses over and over again when they're doing their search online, and it gets frustrating. And to have all this opportunity, not only just to have homes to scroll through, but now you've got real opportunities on homes to see that are different than what you've seen, and it makes them feel like they're not going to have to compete with 50 offers. Now, inevitably, even if there were 1,000 homes that came on the market, there's going to be 1, 2, 3, or 5 that are gorgeous and that everybody flocks to. So even this week, I'm sure that there's going to be 1 or 2 homes that get that 10 offers, but there's also going to be that second tier of homes that maybe aren't the super shiny, nickel in the change drawer, but it's a great opportunity. And it's that opportunity that you don't have to go $50,000 over the asking price. So I'm super excited for this weekend, because I've got a bunch of clients that need a house soon. And now I've got opportunities to really find something for them that we're not going to have to go crazy for. So it's cool. I think it's going to be a good weekend.
Through them, how's the quality of these look so far?
Pretty good. I haven't had a real opportunity to get in there and really see everything, but for the most part, there's some gorgeous stuff coming on. And speaking of gorgeous stuff coming on, I'm gonna show one of your listings today.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Yes.
It's coming soon. We're going next week.
Little off-market opportunity, yes. Yeah. And we don't put ours in the MLS as coming soons, so we do have this opportunity. It's really cool. We toured it on Tuesday.
Yeah,
and that's the best bathroom I've ever seen in a townhouse.
I went through it. That I wish I could take credit. That was them. They have great stuff. They took that upper level down to the studs apparently, and just redid everything from the floor to the trim to, I mean, they just reconfigured and reimagined certain things on that upper level. I don't know how they found the space for that size bathroom in a townhouse.
Yeah, they had to lose a bedroom, right?
No, they didn't lose a bedroom because it's still 3 bedrooms up there. I don't know how they did it, and I really wish I knew, because it's like it's a townhome and unit. It's a large one, 1,600 square feet on the main and upper level, right? So it's one of the larger townhomes in the area. It's not a small townhome.
Yeah.
But their primary bedroom, it's like you walk in, and then to the right, you see the door to the bathroom, and you just open it, and it's like, ta-da, shining, separate soaking tub, separate shower, double vanity, a separate water closet for the toilet. They have a walk-in closet too, and it's gleaming. It's gorgeous, and I'm like, how did you do this?
Yeah, where did all the space come from? It's like a circus mirror. All of a sudden, it opens up into this big thing. And how about the inlay in the flooring? Like the flooring has this cool design right there in the middle. Whoever did it, hats off, because their contractor was amazing. I think what they did was there's probably a large kind of there was a lot of dead space up there, I think. And they just kind of grabbed from that dead space to add to, because even one of the bedrooms got a little bit bigger, I think.
Yes. Yeah, it just looked, they just were big, good sized, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, but that primary was huge. That bathroom.
And they moved the washer and dryer upstairs. How did they even figure that out?
They did. In the closet. It's magic. It is magic.
Yeah, it's a magic house. So I think it will break a record. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. If my folks like it, we'll try to break a record for you in that neighborhood. Will
it have a 7? I'm just kidding. I was just kidding.
Somewhere in the number, sure. It's somewhere in that number. We'll put a 7 for it. Absolutely.
You see, I don't make it easy for Eric, even if you are my podcast partner.
Are you kidding me? A 7? I don't know. Maybe.
You said
that's
break
a
the
tough
record.
Conversation. Well, you don't got to get to 7 to break the record. I know. Oh my God. So that is a conversation we had yesterday with the client, because I shared some photos with them, and we talked about comps in the area, and I know what I think the value is of that house, and we're not gonna. No. I mean, we could, but and the value that I put on it is well above any of the comps that are that are in that neighborhood.
Yeah,
and trying to justify that number that I came up with to my clients was a little tricky, but I think they get it, and I think they'll get it when they see the house today. But yeah, there might even be that still a gap between what we think it's worth and what your seller thinks it's worth.
Yeah,
and justifiably so, because your seller put a ton of money into this house just recently.
Yes,
and now they're trying to sell it, and I get it. They're trying to sell for different reasons, because their family's growing.
Yeah, their family grew. I mean, they're ready for a bigger home, and I mean, they put so much love and work into that house, not thinking they were going to sell. Like, they did that for themselves. There's a difference when you have clients that do updates and upgrades to sell versus people who do it for themselves, and that they're okay spending more than I would recommend on it because they weren't doing it for someone else, right? And that's when you get that like amazing opportunity, because then you're like, wow, they created this like oasis, and they spent all this money on it. Now it's available, and so that's doesn't come around often, actually. So and telling you, Eric, are we getting there?
Oh no, not at all. I'm stuck on my number. We're not. No, I get it. I 1000% get it. It's almost like my wife and I were having a conversation about putting solar panels on a little while ago. And we were like, that's such a big price point right away. And are we going to live in this house long enough to justify that type of cost? And I imagine your sellers had kind of the same conversation, although the number for the work they did had to be 6 figures.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They didn't share the number with me, but I think it was a lot. I mean, if you just look at what they did, it has to be a lot, And they're perfectionists, and they love making the home beautiful. And we had a whole conversation about the lower level. They hadn't really touched the lower level. Still looked good. I mean, they're clearing it out and everything. You toured it Tuesday, right? Did you tour it?
Yeah.
Okay. So they've been working on just clearing it out. And they were like, do we change the flooring down here? And I was like, listen, you've done so much work on the main and upper. I would not put any more money into this house. I think it looks great. I think you're going to sell it really well. You don't need to put any more money into it. Maybe paint.
I think that's
for the utility room. Like, that's it.
Yeah, that's perfect advice too, because any more money they put into that house, I don't think it's going to help them recoup anything.
No. Yeah,
because they've already put so much money into that house that anything more, they're just throwing money away, I think.
Right. Yeah, it's not like all of a sudden, if you change the flooring in the basement, you can charge more for the house. I don't think so, because it's already so beautiful and at the top that you're just, you're putting like cherries on it, but you're not really changing the price. So
you can't go much over the top than what they're at.
Right.
And it is a great location. What I couldn't understand, this particular neighborhood, nothing goes on sale in that neighborhood.
No. Yeah. That's the problem with the comps. It's people stay there, because if you look at outside of that neighborhood, right, and like you look at some of the Burke townhomes or some of the equivalent size ones, I mean, there are ones that are going really high, and this is a better school district. So but it's hard because you have to have someone, basically, if you're a buyer, willing to either cover the appraisal or waive the appraisal in order to get to that winning groundbreaking price, right? It's just hard, right? In those situations when you have one that's like the best in the neighborhood,
it's hard. It's hard. That's that whole rule is you don't want to be the most expensive house on the block. And this one will absolutely be that. There's no getting around it.
No.
The other reason why I really want to make this one work out is just think of all the content we'll have. Oh my God.
We're doing a deal live on air. No.
And when I say coded things like, I'm working with this agent right now and I really don't understand where she's coming from. Somebody will get it anyway. All right, so that's awesome. We're gonna ratify a house together by Monday. That's awesome. I'm really excited about that.
First things first, show your clients and let me know what you think.
It's so funny. Your clients were super sweet. It's always funny to me when you go preview these homes and the folks are home. And it's a group of professional real estate agents that are walking through your home, and these folks are taking you on a tour like you don't understand anything. And I get it. Yeah, you want to show off everything you got, but it's so cool when they're just like telling you everything they did and when they did it and why they did it, and I do like hearing everyone's story, and it was nice to have them there, and it really did help. It helped because I was able to convey a lot of that information to my buyers. And that was part of the reason why they want to see it so quickly. So it is nice to have the people there, but sometimes you get these houses where it's not that great, and we're touring it on Tuesday and the folks are there.
And the clients are there and they're like, old and cute, but they're so proud of their home, but it's like it's carpeted and it still has like wallpaper everywhere, and
and they're telling you how much they think it's how awesome it is, and they're gonna do so great, and it's like, you got some work to do. That's what is that conversation for that Tuesday walkthrough? What do you usually say to them?
Well, I usually prefer that my clients are not there. But, some people don't like the idea of having 20 agents going through without being there. I totally get it. That's their home. It's kind of, but I usually try and say, hey, take a walk when the agents come. Maybe, just, go to lunch. Like, I try to encourage them not to be there, but it doesn't always work. Sometimes they are there. In some cases I'll be like, just let them do their thing. They're just going to walk through really quick. It's like the SWAT team descending. They arrive, they walk through, they walk out, they'll give me the feedback, trying to just like gently lead them to the idea that you're not supposed to keep them there for a long time and talk their ear off. But that doesn't do anything for my talkers. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like I've had feedback where it's like, hey, your client's telling me a price, right? I'm like, don't tell them a price. Don't talk money with the buyer agents.
Oh, we ask all the time. That's our first question if they're home. How much you want for this?
Right.
What do you think? What do you think?
You guys are the worst. Don't talk to my clients.
I do a thing where, and I'll share it. Why not? We always we come up with prices as a team, or all agents come up with what we think the house should list for. And if it's a house that I know I want to show and I know I like for my clients, I'll always add like an extra 20, 30K to my number.
You add it? You don't subtract it? You don't make it?
No, I add it. So it's like, oh, Eric wants to get more for it. Yeah. Oh, Eric thinks this is worth a lot more. Let's Eric. So if you notice the numbers of what people put down, go ahead, go look at it, and you'll see what I did.
Okay, I will.
I think I was 30 grand higher than the highest number.
Okay, so here's the thing. So this is something that our team does, a lot of other teams don't do, right? We're talking about, it's our Tour Tuesday, right? We kind of, to backtrack a little bit, we every Tuesday, the listing agents get to pitch their houses that are coming up to the buyer agents. Then we all jump in our cars and we tour all the homes about to go on the market, usually within a week or two. Sometimes we'll tour them as they're about to get fixed up, right? So it just depends on the situation. But then all of the agents walk through and they're supposed to put on this spreadsheet what they think the price is, right? And that helps us talk to our clients and be like, hey, 20 agents went through, the range of price they think is, 6 whatever to 7 whatever. This is in line with what we talked about, right. The thing is, I wish we had a system where the buyer agents can't see what the other buyer agents are putting down as prices, like that only I could see the total numbers, because it's like you can totally tell who went together. People just copy each other. You're like, oh, lo and behold, these 4 were in the same car and they all had the same number. Like, I'm like, come on, guys, think for yourselves.
You know what? You just have to get in the car with a bunch of buyer agents.
I know.
And you need to see the way the conversation goes, because the conversation usually is funny, because no one ever wants to go first. If you're in a car with 4 people and it's like, okay, Eric, what's your number? And it's like, I'm not going first. You go first. and then someone comes up with a number, and then you're like, okay, do I want to be above that or less than that? It's like this whole, it's a game you play, and it's fun. But this one, I went through, I was like, and I was sincere about my number, but then I pushed it 10 more thousand, because I wanted you to see it and go, oh, well, Eric loves this house. Let's do it.
He really likes this house.
But that's been hard to do, especially this first quarter, because the listing price hasn't been the sales price at all. Mm-hmm. No. And like, we had a house in our farm last week that I probably shouldn't have said the name. All right, let me pick a different house. But we had a house that I didn't think was in the best shape. It could have been a little bit better, more prepared for sale, but it is what it is. Our market does have an opportunity. You can put a house on that's not, purely fit and finish. It's not a 10 out of 10. It's a 7 out of 10. But that's just it's the best way to market it, that particular house. Anyway, I'm digressing. That house listed at one price and sold $50,000 over that price. And that wouldn't happen in most markets. Mm-mm. Not at all. So it's hard when we go on these tours on Tuesday and we're supposed to come up with a price we think we should list it at. But then you also think, well, yeah, you could list it at that, but it's going to sell for higher.
Yeah.
And that's what I did on this particular house that we're talking about. I had a list price, but then I said, well, this is what I think it might sell for, so let me give them that price.
Yeah, and as listing agents, honestly, and we all do it differently because there's, on the team. So some of us never show the spreadsheet to the client, right? We just kind of verbally explain it. And sometimes if, we lead them to the water we want them to drink, great. We're like, Other times I genuinely am looking for help because I am just at a loss. The market is it's such a difference. And so that's why I'm so happy that the buyer agents are using the form now. For a little while there, it was like pulling teeth, but more and more people are using it because I want your input. I want your feedback. I want to know, like, I think we could sell this for 650. Is it possible? Oh, look, more than half are there, or am I really off the mark thinking that I can get X amount? And then I look and no one's even crossed this, can we get 700 for this house? And no one even got to 700 out of 20 agents. And I'm like, maybe not, maybe not. And then I'm like, okay, well, what's the starting point versus where are we going to end? Because we do know that in this market, it is about the starting point versus the end rather than just the price, right? And being strategic about like, okay, well, the goal is to get to 7, and we don't think starting at 7 is a smart idea, but if we start at 684, can we get to 7 potentially? That's the conversation.
Not with this one.
No. Mine? No, I'm not talking about mine. A different mine.
All right. I know we got to wrap up, but I just got one more question. What has been the biggest surprise from the Tuesday to actual ratified price this quarter? Has there been one where you felt like you just really underpriced it or surprised you? I shouldn't say underpriced it, surprised you. Because I know I've seen a couple, and Canterbury is one that comes up. The other one, Littleton, comes up. Because I know even from the buyer agent standpoint, I don't think anyone predicted those would go as high as they ended up going.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think this market right now, especially in the last month or two, you've been able to have less than perfect homes still be competitive in the market. And so, and sometimes, just like agents all over, we're catching up. We're playing catch up with the price points, and we're kind of trying to be predictive with price points. And we get it wrong sometimes, like as a whole team. And then, I've had clients that have said to me very clearly, no, we're selling at 700. Like, this house can bear it. Yeah. And I'm thinking, we're lucky to get to 675. And all the buyer agents are supporting me, right? We're all thinking the same way, but they're so adamant that say, okay, well, we'll try it. The market will tell us. And lo and behold, they sell it for like 710. And it's like, when a market like this, you can't be afraid to just go for it sometimes, if that's what your client wants.
Yeah.
It is the time you can bear it. But on the other hand, there's a difference between 675 to 700 versus 675 to 750, right? Then you're like so far out of the ballpark that you're just killing yourself. So it is tricky.
And you walk that fine line too, because there are homes in our market that don't sell the first week. And those are typically the ones where they push the starting price. Like, they already started at the top or even above what the market is saying it should be, because they're listening to all the stories about how, Joe and Martha down the street sold their house for $70,000 more than what they listed it. So we're just going to price it there. I think what's smart is what you guys do on our team is you don't price it at the top of the market. You're pricing it a little more competitively and let the market dictate where the price finishes.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And that's smart. And I think that's
without undercutting, right? Like, we're not, no one's trying to like lowball here. Like, no one's trying to be like, well, we think the market can bear 675, so let's go for 625. Like, no one is trying to do that. That's crazy talk. It's like, oh, if the market can bear 675, let's go for 669. Let's go for 672, right? I mean, look, when we say competitive, we don't mean so far below that you were ruining chances to keep pushing.
Yeah. Where there's a chance that the ratified price is going to be well below what it should be. No, right. The idea is it's starting at a competitive number where it should be, and it just drives it up. Yeah, I'm excited about this week. I'm excited about the inventory that's coming out. I'm excited about where our market's going. It seems like, it's cyclical. It's a roller coaster ride. Mm-hmm. And I'm really anxious to see where this quarter finishes with all these new homes coming on the market. From a buyer agent standpoint, this is awesome. I could see from a listing agent, it could be a little bit, a little bit tenuous, but tough.
Well, no, but honestly, the market we expected the big dump of inventory to happen a little sooner in March, and it didn't. And so we were kind of like, what's happening? It's getting pushed. It's getting pushed. So we were predicting April would be the month. So, I mean, this is kind of falling in line with that, like last week of March into April. We should have seen this big jump of inventory 2 weeks ago, perhaps, if you look at like history. So now it just pushed a little bit, and hopefully, that's good for the market. It's not a bad thing for the market. We just got to, prepare our clients that maybe we'll have less showings than we were had you gone in the market a month ago, like we told you to. Just kidding. Yeah.
Well, speaking of preparing our clients, how about we prepare our viewers for next week's show, which will be our last of the season, and we've got a special guest coming on next week.
We don't know who it is. I don't know who it is. Do you know who it is?
I want to take a guess. I think it's going to
ruin it. All right, go ahead.
No. I think, and I might be going out there, but I think this person is really big right now. Keanu Reeves, new movie coming out. I think we got Keanu for the podcast.
I would just not know what to say. I would freeze. He's one of my, childhood. Keanu.
Is he on the list? Yeah. All right. Yeah, he's on my list. Anyway, no, I'm sure it's not Keanu Reeves, but that would be really awesome, Mr. Producer, if you could figure that one out.
Yeah.
Or Halle Berry. I don't think she's in the new movie, but
but
I'm excited nonetheless.
We'd have something to ask her, I think. We'd have questions.
Oh, I would have a lot to ask her. I'll just put it out there. You know what, Halle, if you're watching.
Because she's watching. They're all watching. Everyone is watching. They have saved us.
Yes, they've got the ding. They've hit the like and subscribe. I think our first review was from Keanu Reeves, if I'm not mistaken. Go back and look. Yeah, I think it was episode 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he liked your glasses that day.
Oh gosh. Don't look, Keanu. Oh, well, this is great. I'm so excited. I can't wait for next week.
I know. I am too. I want to see who it is. I hope it doesn't slip out. I hope I don't find out, because I want to just be super surprised.
Yeah.
Anyway, so come back next week for our surprise guest. And Real Agents of Fun.
Real Agents of Change.
And Real Agents of Real Estate. Awesome. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.